It is good to be here out in the pucker brush, isn't it? Out in the willy wax. No, it's fun. This is a lot of fun. I'm glad to be here. So thanks for having me, everybody. It's really cool. I will tell you, I love being from Maine. It's really good being from Maine. I say it's wicked good. I feel like we have the same attitude about everything. If we're from Maine, we have the same attitude, and it's just whatever. Where you going? Okay, whatever. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, you know. And I also think we have the same attitude when it comes to other people. You're right. We have out-of-staters. If you're from away, it's okay. You know, get out of here. But let me make you a plate before you go. Hold on. I like being from Maine. My grandmother is 91 this year, folks. 91. Isn't that crazy? 91. Now, she was born and raised in Maine, has not left Maine, doesn't like anything outside of Maine. She just wants to stay here. And a few years ago, we went out to the Grand Canyon, and I said, Nanny, can you believe it? Here we are. It's the Grand Canyon. The Grand Canyon. And she goes, if I wanted to look at a bunch of rocks and dirt, I would have gone down to Bidderford Pool. Okay, all right. And then a few years after that, we went out to Colorado, went skiing in the Rockies, because clearly I'm a skier. We went out to the Rockies, and I said, Nanny, can you believe it? It's the Rocky Mountains. The Rocky Mountains. She goes, it's just like Sugarloaf, just a little bigger. I said, ski at Sugarloaf, half the price. Okay. Fun fact about me, in real life, I was adopted. Oh, okay. No. You can't pander now. You can't go back now. So I was adopted, and I always had questions growing up. I always asked my mom, I said, well, she told me very young, she said, well, you were adopted. I said, well, if you didn't have me, how did you have me? And she said, well, Zach, we went through an adoption agency. And I said, are adoption agencies free? And she said, no, they're not. And so I said, well, how much was I? And my mother says the same thing every time. Zach, you're priceless.
Yeah.
But not really, though, right? Like there's a receipt somewhere. And I need to know what's on it. And she goes, Zach, why? Why do you need to know what's on that? Besides, we didn't pay for you. Well, didn't you? And she goes, and this is verbatim, my mom has said to me, the happiest day of my life was when we found out what we were going to get. Like I'm an Amazon Prime package that's supposed to just show up. But she goes, Zach, why do you need to know? I said, Mom, come on, you got to tell me. She said, why? I said, because if I'm ever kidnapped, I want to know if it's a good deal. Like if they call you and they're like, we have your son, and we want $1 million. I don't know why I made it a pirate, but he's a pirate for now. I want $1 million. I could be like, excuse me, they never invested that much to begin with. In fact, when removed from the lot, I depreciate in value very quickly. But being adopted has been good. It's been an interesting life. I've kind of been given an interesting life. My mom is deaf. American Sign Language is my first language. And having a deaf mom has certainly had its challenges, for sure. I'm really glad she's deaf because I would have been grounded a lot more as a kid if she wasn't. But the thing about having a deaf mom is people don't always believe me, or they're like, is your mom really deaf? And I'm like, well, sometimes. You never know. You know, and some people go, well, I had a deaf dog once. Oh, because that's the same as a parent. Good. Good. And they go, well, she doesn't look deaf. That's because we took her ear patches off. I don't know what that even means. And some people really don't understand what the word deaf is all about. For my mom's 50th birthday party, we took her to the Texas Roadhouse because we're classy. And we went to the Texas Roadhouse, we got seated at our table, and the waitress comes over, and she goes, hi, my name's Jill, and I'm gonna take care of y'all today. And I thought, I hope someone's taking care of you, Jill. And she goes, can I get y'all started with something to drink? And I said, I'd like a Diet Coke. And my grandmother said, I'll have a tea. And she looks at my mother, who's looking at the menu, and she goes, ma'am, can I start you off with something to drink? And my mom's just, And she goes, ma'am, can I start you off with something to drink? And I said, I just want to see how this plays out. And she goes, ma'am. And my mom. So finally I felt like I had to intervene, and I said, I'm so sorry, Jill. My mom is deaf. And she goes, oh. Ma'am, can I get you something to drink? And I thought, no, Jill. No, she is super deaf. Super duper deaf. And she went, oh, I'll be right back. And I was like, she still drinks. And I kid you not, she came back and handed my mom a menu in Braille. I think about Jill 2 times a week. I miss her. I have a friend, she's a great example of that. We all have this friend, I think. Like, I have a friend who describes themselves as an overthinker. No. You're just dumb. You know? Like, I was in Portland. It's free parking in Portland after 6 o'clock, and it's 15 minutes. 1 quarter is 15 minutes. I had 3 quarters, and it was 5 o'clock, and I said, oh man, I got 3 quarters. Do you have an extra quarter so we can be here for an hour, and then it's free parking? And she goes, you don't need an extra quarter. Well, according to math, I do. And she goes, oh, I'm sorry. I was so overthinking that. No. You weren't. You were underthinking that. Because you're dumb. But we need people like that in our lives, don't we? We need people around us that are like that. And if you are here tonight and you're thinking, I don't have a dumb friend, it's because it's you. And that's not great for you. I'll tell you one last story here. I've been on tour. I've played some really cool venues, some clubs. I'm in a barn now, and that's very exciting. And this is very reminiscent. I was booked to do a show in Houlton, Maine. Do you guys know where Houlton, Maine is? Yeah? Way up there, dude. You got to go where the highway ends. Even the highway's like, nope. So we get up there. I get a call from my manager, and my manager goes, hey man, you're never gonna believe it. You got booked at a civic center. You're playing a civic center. And I thought, oh my God, this is it. I'm gonna make it big. And we're going up to Houlton, Maine. We're driving through towns that don't have names. They're just numbers. Hello, where do you live? 72. We get up to Houlton, Maine, and I'm looking around for the John A. Miller Civic Center. I cannot find it anywhere, and we finally turn down this road, and 2 miles down the dirt road, in the middle of the forest, there's a clearing, and in the middle of the woods, there's a barn with the letters painted on the side, John A. Miller Civic Center. And I was like, come on! They were literally bringing pigs and chickens out of the barn for my show. Come on! And I thought, oh my God, this is not what you didn't tell me. Why are we here? And the promoter for the show came out, and he was like, hey man, we're so glad you're here. Good news, you're sold out. And I was like, awesome, all 9 people are coming. That's gonna be great. The whole town. And he said, you got a couple hours before the show, you should get out and get a feel for Houlton. And I thought, all righty. And so we went, he goes, have you ever milked a cow? Do I look like the cow milking type, folks? I got this shirt at H&M. It's not the milking cow. So I said, no, I've never milked a cow. He said, oh, it's going to be wicked good. You want to get out there and just give her a go. So I thought, all right, I'll go. And so we went to where all the cows live in their cow jails. I saw the dangly thing. I was like, oh. No, thank you. No, I don't want to touch that. He goes, oh, it's real easy. Just get underneath her and give her a good tuck. Okay. This is wrong. So wrong. And it got me thinking, like, who milked the first cow? Like, who was frolicking in a pasture? and they saw a cow. And they were like, oh. I'm a yank on those. Like, what was the cow thinking? Like, hi, friend, how are you? Oh my God! You know, it's so uncomfortable. And then the moral of the story is, if you see dangly things, don't yank on them. It really changed your relationship with your grandmother. That's all I'm saying. Thank you guys. You've been a lot of fun. Appreciate you.